Oh, hi there. Welcome to the program. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is the Farzy Show presented by MyBookie. MyBookie.ag. Lovely to have you along for the ride. We have Jeff Stoutland talking about Eagles minicamp, what exactly he's looking for in a right guard. And he names a name when it comes to an all-pro. Names a name, which is not an all-pro. A Pro Bowler here in Philadelphia at the right guard spot that he looks to model other right guards after. He also mentions a left tackle, a tackle in general, that he likes to model his tackles after. All good names, all really good names. One, future Hall of Famer. Another one, I'd say Hall of Fame talent. Didn't have a Hall of Fame career, but Hall of Fame talent. Very interesting conversation with Jeff Stoutland in the media yesterday at the NovaCare Complex. And then, did something else happen today that was like national? Oh, yeah, Rhys Hoskins returned to Citizens Bank Park yesterday. Rhys got, I thought, the perfect treatment. In all honesty, I thought it was perfect. It wasn't like to me, the biggest ovation that I've ever seen was Chase Utley's return. That was the biggest ovation. It was 90 seconds of just clapping. And I remember being there and just Philadelphia just pouring the love on Chase Utley. Jimmy Rollins got a great ovation. Shane Victorino got a great ovation. Ryan Howard, it always bothered me that Ryan Howard never got that. Like that really does suck that Ryan Howard never got that kind of moment. Because when he was done, unfortunately, he was done. Yeah, it was rough, but it was unfortunate. But to see those guys come back and have that kind of ovation and reception was wonderful. I was expecting Rhys Hoskins to kind of be a notch below that, a bunch of notches below Chase Utley, but notches below Jimmy Rollins and all that. And that's what he got. He got a 30-second standing ovation yesterday by my count, timing it on my phone as I watched it from home. I thought it was perfectly handled by all parts. I'd feel differently if the Phillies didn't win that game. If Rhys Hoskins' home run sparked some kind of comeback by the Milwaukee Brewers, I'd feel a lot different. But in home run, I loved the idea of a transitional boo. Rhys Hoskins hits the home run. Phillies fans boo. Rhys Hoskins touches home plate. Many Philly fans were giving standing ovations to Rhys Hoskins. They even covered it nationally on SportsCenter. And I was curious to see how they were going to handle it with Philadelphia. And, of course, I don't even remember what the anchor's name was at the time, but she said, of all people, Philly? And I'm like, did they already forget about Trey Turner last year? Like, does this person not have social media where every fan base has their not great moment? Well, last night was a great moment. And to kind of go, wow, of all people, Philly. Like, thanks. Appreciate it for that backhanded compliment. But I thought everything was perfect last night. And look, as far as the smiling and the laughing, the butt taps and all that, like, I try not to forget that these guys are playing a game, and it's kind of easier to remember that when the Phillies are the best team in baseball. It's kind of easy to remember that. It's kind of easy to remember that when the Phillies are winning. If the Phillies were like really trying to like struggle through a season and they hadn't hit their June stride yet, as we got used to, then the smiling and the laughing would have a whole different feel to it. But because the Phillies are in such a great place, we got to really enjoy a guy like Rhys Hoskins coming back to South Philadelphia. And look, he hit a home run, got the ovation. Phillies won the game. That's the outcome that I care about. We'll get into all of it on today's program, and I look forward to discussing it all with you today. As you are right now watching The Farzy Show, make sure you like and subscribe to The Farzy Show on YouTube. Make sure you like and subscribe to Jacob Media, and make sure you add another one to the list on Locked On Sports Philadelphia, where yours truly is giving you all the post-game content you need for the Philadelphia Phillies and our Locked On Sports Philadelphia postcast. So you can catch me there as well. Let's start it off with the Hoskins return. As I said, I thought everything was played out perfectly. I thought that it wasn't too much. I thought it wasn't too little. I thought it was just right. You could really tell the love and admiration, not just between the fan base and Rhys Hoskins, and seeing him sign autographs before the game, have that connection with players was great. I saw Brianna Gallagher's report on 6 ABC with Rhys Hoskins being down there with the fans before the game, signing those autographs, and one little girl asking him, do you like your new team as much as the Phillies? And he said, yes, and then gave a wink. I thought that was beautiful. Seeing him go there and sign this little girl's sign that said Rhys Hoskins is the Rhys, I'm here. Get it? It was great. And seeing how excited she was when he did that shows the connection he had with his fan base. And then seeing him have fun on the field with his teammates, his former teammates in Philadelphia, was just exactly what I thought you would see. From the teammate perspective, it was actually more than I expected. The love there that was shown on the field, and the smiles exchanged, the respect exchanged a little bit more. I mean, I expected Bryce Harper to applaud Rhys Hoskins, and I expected the Philadelphia fans to applaud Rhys Hoskins. It was even a little bit more love and admiration than I had expected. I did hear some boos. Now, here's the trick. I've been at Jimmy Rollins' game and Chase Utley's game and all that. I've been at big moments. I've been in controversial moments where people aren't sure if people are going to cheer or boo. And I've been in the building when people have been like, when it's been all cheers, and I've heard all these cheers and all that stuff. And then I've heard it from people that weren't at the game, like back home. I heard some boos coming through my TV, and that didn't come through if I was at the game. And being at home watching the game yesterday, I heard some boos come through the TV, and I always feel like the boos get exaggerated for whatever reason through the audio, through the TV, than the cheers. So I did hear some boos, but I would assume if I was there, it was all cheers, with the boos not coming through at all. But all in all, I thought it was a great moment for the Phillies. I thought it was a great moment for the Philadelphia fan base. And Rhys Hoskins, after the game, even said, this is courtesy NBC Sports Philadelphia, even said after the game that he went up to the plate with some tears in his eyes.
Go up to the plate with tears in your eyes? Is it fair to say there might have been a few?
Yeah, definitely was. I have to say that's a first for me, but I think I was able to reel it in a little bit, got it right into the at-bat. I guess something about competing against people that that makes you lock in a little bit. But also the guy on the mound's pretty good tonight, so you better do that or you're probably not going to have too much of a chance.
Is there anything you can do to
Certainly not going to have too much of a chance. Again, courtesy NBC Sports Philadelphia. The best moment by far wasn't even the ovation. The best moment was when Zach Wheeler walked Rhys Hoskins in the 5th inning. Rhys Hoskins then stole second. All right. There's a smile going from him to JT Realmuto. They're laughing it up. They're chucking it up, the old chuckle hut, right? And then Rhys Hoskins tries to score on a Perkins single up the middle. Johan Rojas made a perfect play. He charged the ball, fielded it perfectly, made a perfect throw to JT Realmuto at home. They gunned down Rhys Hoskins at home plate, and then it's laughs all around. JT's laughing. He smacks Hoskins on the butt. Hoskins reciprocates, smacks him on the butt. They're both laughing. I thought it was a great moment, especially because Rhys Hoskins was out. And the Phillies got the last laugh in that moment. The Phillies got the last laugh at the end of the game by winning the game. And, of course, even before then, Zach Wheeler, before he could put 7 scoreless in the books, Rhys Hoskins had to at least get him in his book with a home run to left field, his 10th of the season, and that's exactly what he did. He got a 2-1 fastball up in the zone, and Hoskins just did what Hoskins does with those pitches, which is belled him out of the ballpark, and that's exactly what he did. To say belled out of the ballpark might be a little extreme. It was in the petunias. It wasn't even in the first row in left field. It was in the petunias. I can't remember a time where the Philadelphia Phillies fan base booed a guy for hitting a home run, and then when he touched home plate, a standing ovation. It was cool. It was a very specific, very pinpoint boo and cheer. I loved it. As the game went on, of course, Phillies win it. And as for the game itself, I thought it was a couple of things. One, I will say in regard to Zach Wheeler, home plate umpire Sean Barber. I thought it was really sweet. I thought it was really beautiful that home plate umpire Sean Barber did his Angel Hernandez tribute show last night in honor of the recently retired longtime MLB umpire. Sean Barber was garbage behind the plate last night. He got better. I don't know if between innings he went and looked at a tablet or a Surface, whatever, an iPad, and was like, God, I'm trash tonight. I better, call balls and strikes accurately as opposed to just taking my best guess. But what came to mind last night was he's doing an Angel Hernandez tribute show. This is great. That's what it was like. He was seeing legends in concert. Angel Hernandez. That's what he was. There was one at bat. Yelich was one of them. and I want to say Ortiz at bat in the third inning. Bowers leads off the third inning with a single to right field. Ortiz steps up. There's a ball that is not outside, not painting the corner. No, down the chute, essentially, on the outside quarter, not corner, quarter of the, like, got all the plate. Ball. Then another pitch. Top of the zone, well inside the strike zone. Ball. Even Zach Wheeler on the mound, who, sometimes shows a little emotion, showed more emotion about a bad call than I have seen in quite some time from him. Put his head back. You can see him roll his eyes a little bit, kind of kick the mound a little bit, what am I going to do with this guy? And then Ortiz goes up there, ends up working a walk. Perkins gets a single. So now all of a sudden you got the bases loaded. You're thinking, all right, the Phillies already had a two-run lead at this point. It's 2-0 going into that top of the third inning. Now you got a bases loaded, no out situation. Brace yourself, something's going to happen. And something did happen. Bases loaded, no outs. Terang steps up. Zach Wheeler gets him to ground into the patented 1-2-3 double play. Zach Wheeler, how great he was last night. He spiked it to JT Realmuto, threw it in the dirt to JT, who was covering home, throws it to JT. JT picks it. As he's picking it and falling to the ground, he fires to Bryce Harper at first base for the second out of the double play. All of a sudden, you go from bases loaded, nobody out, to runner on second and third with 2 outs. He can see his way out of it. John Kruk even said, I could see a strikeout, then double play here. Well, you got it in the reverse. Because after he got that 1-2-3 double play, he was able to get Contreras to strike out on a sinker up in the zone. And when you look throughout his strikeouts tonight, Zach Wheeler, he was using everything. Fastball, sinker, that was working for him. Fastball and sinker was the two-seamer and the four-seamer were working pretty well for him last night. Splitter he used a little bit last night as well. But he was just really keeping batters guessing throughout the game. And I love the pitch counts when it comes to the 11-pitch first inning. You see him go out there. It was a 14-pitch second inning. He had a real quick inning. I believe it was in the top of the fourth inning. Yeah, he struck out Yelich on the high sinker, got Adames to strike out on a fastball inside, and then got Frelick to ground out to Bryce Harper at first. That was a quick inning for him in the fourth. Really just a dominant performance from Zach Wheeler, and it should have been even more dominant, potentially even pitch into the 8th inning if you had a decent umpire in the first 5 innings of the game. After really the 4th inning is when you started to see Sean Barber start to realize, hold on a second, I got to be better at this. As the game went on, the 7th inning showed some struggles from Wheeler. That's when Adames flew out to right field, little warning track power right there. Castellanos made the catch right in front of the wall. He got Frelick to ground out to first again. And with 2 outs, Hoskins stepped up there and hit the 2-1 fastball out of the park for a 3-1 game at that point. And then Bowers worked the walk, and Ortiz grounded out to short. Both those at-bats were 3-2 counts. Both those at-bats went full. And Wheeler went from 91 pitches at the start of the 7th inning to 114 for the game. He was done after that. The Phillies will have more rest for him as they, after this series, travel to London town. And they get a couple of more days off in between during all of it. And then I think he's back on the bump in Boston. But yeah, all in all, great performance there by Zach Wheeler. When it comes to the rest of this team, I still can't believe it. The amount of times you have seen the bottom of the order go out there and simply be dominant. And last night, who's the next man up? We've been talking about it all season long when it comes to this Phillies team. Who's the next man up? Trey Turner goes down, and Mundo Sosa steps up. Yeah, Bryce Harper get off to a little bit of a rocky start. Alec Boehm's hitting the cover off the ball. Alec Boehm cools down a little bit. Then all of a sudden, what? David Dahl? What? A guy who hasn't played in the big leagues in 14 months steps up to the plate in this game, goes 2 for 3 with a home run. That's the magic of this Phillies team. Edmundo Sosa gets an RBI single. Johan Rojas has driven in 4 RBIs in the last 6 games. Like, that's not Hall of Fame numbers, but for Johan Rojas, that's pretty incredible. But making great plays in the outfield again. Did it last night for Taijuan Walker. Did it tonight, or did it yesterday when he threw out Rhys Hoskins for Zach Wheeler. It was great. Another RBI single for him. The bottom of the lineup guys are the ones that have been the difference makers in the season. And I've said this before, but it's worth saying again. The difference in this season from oh my God, an incredible historical start for the Phillies, and the Phillies are off to a good start this year. That's good. The difference between historical start and the difference between they're off to a good start is what the bottom of the order guys are doing. Because Kyle Schwarber's going to get his, Bryce Harper's going to get his, JT Realmuto's going to get his, all that. Alec Boehm's going to get his. But if the other guys aren't stepping up for you to provide those clutch hits, David Dahl doesn't get called up yesterday to the Phillies big league organization, doesn't get back in the major leagues for the first time in over a year. You don't get that home run yesterday from him. You don't get that single from him yesterday. You don't get solid left field play from him yesterday. Edmundo Sosa isn't here. You're not getting this historical start to the season. Let's call it what it is. Help carry the team for over a month. Like, you're not getting those wins. It's insane to see how the bottom of the order guys have been performing at such a high level this year. And yesterday was no exception of that. It was exactly that playing out. And you continue to see it from Rojas, from Sosa. You saw it yesterday from David Dahl. It was great. A couple other things from yesterday's game that I really liked. One was that second inning, they did the reverse, the opener in yesterday's game with Koenig. He started yesterday for the Brewers. Then they went to Wilson for a handful of innings. But in that second inning, after a 5-pitch first inning, Boehm started off lining out to center field. Stott got a single to center. Another hit for Bryson Stott. Love that. Castellanos grounded into the fielder's choice. Stott was out at second. Then Dahl steps up with a single to right field. Castellanos goes to third. Sosa brings him home with a single to left. Castellanos scores on that. Rojas then gets the RBI single to center field. Dahl scores on that. Kyle Schwarber flies out to left field to end the inning. 25 pitch after a 5-pitch first inning. It was a 25-pitch second inning. Phillies had a lot more success in that second inning, and it was a 2-0 game after that. Dahl then homered in the fourth inning to make it a 3-0 game, and that was it for the Phillies offense. Then Jeff Hoffman, it was great to see him have a really easy inning there. Haven't seen him have an easy inning. It feels like a little bit. 8 pitches, I believe it was, for Jeff Hoffman yesterday. And then Jose Alvarado came in to handle the business in the bottom of the ninth inning to get his 10th, or top of the ninth inning to get his 10th save of the season. All in all, good vibes in South Philadelphia yesterday by your Philadelphia Phillies. Yeah, absolutely. Love to see it. And now when you look at the standings in Major League Baseball, the Phillies, let's keep this in mind. The Cardinals came to town, hottest team in the National League, winning 8 of 10. Milwaukee Brewers came to town, a first-place team, winning 8 of 10. Hottest team in the National League after the Phillies pushed the Cardinals aside with that title. Phillies win today with Christopher Sanchez on the hill. Phillies will again extinguish the hottest team in the National League in a 10-game span, that is. But now with the Phillies winning last night, Braves are 7 games behind the Phillies in the NL East. Keep on building that lead, baby. Keep on building that lead. Phillies also got up to over 100 runs in differential. Still the only team that has more than them is the New York Yankees, who now share the same record as the Phillies, 42-19 on the season. Those are the only 2 teams in all of baseball with over 40 wins on the season to this point. Not too shabby. Would love to get your take on Rhys Hoskins, and I've said this has been my stance on Rhys Hoskins pretty much forever. The reason a guy like him got so much love last night, like Rhys Hoskins' first year, his first exposure in Major League Baseball, when he came up and he hit 11 home runs in 18 games. Hit 18 home runs in his rookie year in a 2-month stretch. When he came up, that Phillies team won 66 games. He was with them through that transition. He was a major piece of that. Like, I was going over the roster yesterday. Do I still have it? Of who Rhys Hoskins came up with. Excuse me. Cameron Rupp, Tommy Joseph, Cesar Hernandez, Michael Franco, Aaron Altair, Nick Williams, Andrew Knapp, Jorge Alfaro, Brock Stassi, J.P. Crawford. These are the guys the pitching staff was anchored by Jeremy Hellickson and a 24-year-old Aaron Nola. Nick Pivetta, Ben Lively, Jake Thompson was supposed to be like the next big thing. Clay Buchholz was on that team. Like, listen to these. Dubal Herrera was still, playing. And he continued to play. It wasn't like a long time ago. But those are the names. That's what Rhys Hoskins came into the league with. Like, when he came into the league, that was the Phillies. And he took them by storm. The incredible power and all that stuff. And I know everyone, 50 home runs a year for the next 10 years. No, that was never realistic. But he was the first piece as a position player to be the turning of the page. And they added guys around him. And not that he was ever the focal point, like best player on the team or anything like that. But you came up with, Pete Mackanin, and then there was the Gabe Kapler. And then obviously Joe Girardi to Rob Thompson. And the 6-7 years he was here, 7 years, that he was here, you saw the transition to the Phillies come back to relevancy. And Rhys Hoskins was the first everyday player you could really go, oh, wow, maybe the Phillies have something here. And for him to be as respected and loved in the clubhouse and to be a leader through that whole transition and just be a great clubhouse guy at the same time. And I still feel that if they didn't mess with him with so many different managers and so many different coaches and so many hitting coaches, that I feel like he would have been a lot more productive while he was here in Philadelphia. And I don't think you would see that like 239 batting average. You'd see more of the 275, 270 batting average from Rhys Hoskins in his time here with 30-plus home runs, 35, maybe 40. Because I thought that talent was there. But, walks are great. That's what you need. You need walks. Not so sure about that. Going from first to the outfield, moving around the lineup a little bit. I thought he was a consummate professional with this team and a great leader, and this team really respected him. Even last year, when this Phillies team was on their run to make it to within a win of going to the World Series in back-to-back years, you saw how much they respected him, and I felt horrible for him that he blew out his knee in spring training and couldn't play. Last game of spring training. And then, of course, let's face it, the Phillies upgraded at first base, obviously with Bryce Harper. But all in all, that's why I respect Rhys Hoskins, and that's why I think he deserved everything that he got yesterday. Still would have rather not hit a home run, but the Phillies won, so hey, it is what it is. Let's talk about your Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia Eagles start running around the field for mandatory mini camp today. A number of coaches spoke yesterday, including Jeff Stoutland and defensive line coach Clint Hurt. I really enjoyed listening to the coaches yesterday, especially Stout and especially Clint Hurt. Jeff Stoutland revealed a couple of things yesterday that I thought were really interesting. One, the type of guard he's looking for. Like he mentions a prototype. That's a player you guys all remember. He also referenced a prototype when it came to the tackle position, and it's a player you guys all remember. He also talked about life after Jason Kelce, and he talked about what he's looking for from Tyler Steen right now at the right guard spot. So we'll get into all that right now when it comes to the Eagles coaches addressing the media yesterday. First, as they turned the page on Jason Kelce, one of the things Jeff Stoutland talked about was how he wants to get everybody, all 5 starters, in cohesion as much as possible. Reading each other's minds, in essence, before the season starts. And that starts at OTAs. That kicks it up to another gear when it comes to minicamp, and obviously goes to a whole new level when you're at training camp. He referred to it as, what was the, I want to make sure the 5 gears. Oh, come on. 5-wheel drive. That's what he referred to it as. 5-wheel drive. And getting these players on the same page. But first, what is life without Jason Kelce being in the room? And what's life like without Jason Kelce at the NovaCare complex?
Obviously, Jason Kelce brought a lot to the table in every facet, on the field and the meetings. These players, though, there's a culture here. It's been here for a long time. And I'm very fortunate to have coached the players that I've coached, because they kind of set the groundwork here. Not just Jason Kelce, but a lot of the other guys that have been here. And so I think that when a player sees the veteran leadership like Jason Kelce, they know their place. And I think when Jason decided that, you know what, this is the time, the perfect time for me, I think the minds of some of the other players, it was like, okay, I knew my place then, but now I know my place. It's time for me to step up. It's time for me to become a leader. And I see that. And I think that's your question. I see that amongst several of the players.
He talked about Lane Johnson being one of the guys to really step up. He was never one to shy away from younger players, but now it seems like he's a guy that is just with them all the time. And he understands that he's got to take that next step forward. Without Jason Kelce, somebody's got to be the guy to have the arm around the younger guys and show them the way it's done. And also, it's an open door. Jeff Stoutland didn't get into specifics, but it's an open door with Jason Kelce and these guys. Jason Kelce, as we pointed out last week when he said to John Clark, he likes to get a free lift in. He could go down to an Overcare complex, get a free workout in. Yeah, okay. That's why, sure. But I love that. I love that he's still there. I love that he's still around these guys. And Jeff Stoutland made it very clear that they're not going to be specific about what Jason Kelce's role is with the team, but he still has a role. Even if that role is ambassador of some sort. More of an ambassador of some sort. I don't want to say official ambassador because the last time the Eagles had that, it wasn't too good, Hugh Douglas. Anyway, but when it came to talking about Jason Kelce being around the team, it's a great thing, obviously. Then this is where things started to get really interesting. Tyler Steen was a big topic yesterday, as one would assume. He's going to be your starting right guard to get the season underway. Brandon Brooks is supposedly that model that Jeff Stoutland wants to use for Tyler Steen to look up to. And here's what he said about it yesterday.
In what way?
He's a bigger body. He's a bigger, like I always look at, like, Brandon Brooks to me is that is the person, that's who you're looking for. Ain't many of them around. That's who you're looking for. Size, length of arms, explosive power, all these things, lower body flex, all these things are like all into one. And it's like, holy cow, how do you find these? And so you're always comparing everybody. In my mind, I'm comparing them like to him. He has a little bit of that, like a lot of that actually. Tyler does.
Brandon Brooks is the model. Brandon Brooks is the model for the right guard position, and Tyler Steen, who's an inch taller than Brandon Brooks, by the way, is the model for Tyler Steen. He had a lot of glowing things about Tyler Steen. Number one was the weight room. Obviously loves his size. Obviously loves what he brings to the table in that regard. How he's more of a guard than Cam Jurgens because of the size. And I thought all that was interesting. But as far as Steen goes in his production and his improvement, Stout was really impressed with what he's seen so far through OTAs and now starting minicamp.
Right now he's on the track to be. I really like what he's doing. I really like his the stuff. I know again it's individual stuff, but it's we demand quickness, effort, straining. I've seen a definite improvement in his strength and his power. In his quickness, his ability to play with low hips. I thought he played high last year. I think he's put a lot of time into the weight room with our people here because I could see it.
Were those things that you kind of pinpointed with him at the end of the last season?
We always do that. Nick does that too. Like he's doing that. That's what we do.
Well, when you talk about the depth on this team and you talk about a guy like Tyler Steen finding his way as a starter now on this team, to hear Jeff Stoutland offer that like praise and even a comparison, not saying that Tyler Steen reminds me of Brandon Brooks, but he just says in terms of these physical attributes and what you're seeing, he's got the right tools. Now it's a matter of putting it all together. That's what I liked hearing from Stoutland yesterday. And also praising Steen for the amount of work that he's put in the weight room and how he just looks like a guy who is ready to go for this season. And I love to see that. And while we're talking about the offensive line and while we're talking about Jeff Stoutland, the Eagles did get a new toy yesterday. Max Sharping they brought in. a former second-round pick in 2019. He was with the Texans, he was with the Bengals, and now he's with the Philadelphia Eagles. So 3 teams in 5 years, not exactly a brag, but more depth on the offensive line. We already know they got Matt Hennessy here. We already know in the draft they brought in some obviously younger players, but Trevor Keegan that a lot of people are looking at, Dylan McMahon out of NC State, the center. So they have some pieces there to help with the interior offensive line. From Hennessy to Sharping, obviously now, and the younger guys as well. So keep on adding to the position, and they're going to need that depth. The Eagles always have that depth, and they got that depth now. If they get the opportunity to play, which hopefully they don't, right? That means nobody gets hurt. They'll be ready to roll through this season. As far as the defensive line went, picked up a lot of good things from Clint Hurt yesterday, Eagles defensive line coach, talking about how Jordan Davis has been looking, talking about Jalen Carter, the sky's the limit for these guys. But one of the big things, I think everyone's expecting a big year from Jalen Carter, and I think what they're curious to see is how a guy like Jordan Davis responds to taking over more of that Fletcher Cox role. I think Jalen Carter is going to be the guy with the sexy numbers, as I've said many times before, and I think Jordan Davis is going to be the guy that's like going to go back and watch and see how many double teams he ate up in the middle of this defensive line. But the big story has been Jordan Davis and the shape that he has come into camp with, mini camp that is, OTAs that is, and Clint Hurt seems to be very impressed by what he's getting from his soon-to-be third-year defensive tackle.
The number one thing for him is just being in the best shape that he possibly can be in, and he's taken huge strides with that this offseason, and it's a work in progress, but he's off to a really, really good start. If he's in great condition and he can play all out, to, not using bad language, but to the wall, if you get my drift on that, then he's going to be a hard guy to block. He's a huge man, long arms, strong. He can get up and down and make tackles in the tackle box. The number one thing for him is conditioning. Can he be in great shape? And we're off to a nice start with that.
I'm sorry, to catch your drift there, just got to go what? To the wall? To the window, to the wall? All right, so Clint Hurt was addressing the media, and there you heard him just there. Everything's supposed to be hunky-dory right now. You're at camp. What I like is that the only story of any negativity surrounding the Eagles right now is what happens with James Bradberry. And I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm not changing my stance. I don't think James Bradberry plays another game for the Philadelphia Eagles. But here's where I think it goes down. I think the Eagles are hoping and crossing their fingers there's a trade that's out there. But everything's hunky-dory with the exception of the James Bradberry deal. But even the end of that story still benefits the Eagles. Because I still think going into this year, your starters are going to be Quentin Mitchell and Darius Slay. I like that. I love that, as a matter of fact. So for me, however the James Bradberry story ends, what's going to end with the Eagles spending a little less money or still having to eat money. Excuse me. The Eagles eating a little less money. Okay. All right, fine. Is it still James Bradberry's not here and Quentin Mitchell and Darius Slay? Those are your guys. Those are the guys. Those are the guys that are making things happen. Okay. I'm fine with that. As long as that's the way this story ends. All right, great. Eagles, as we pointed out yesterday, thank you, Sean Kilrain, and I know it got reiterated throughout the media yesterday. Eagles have the 8th most cap space of any team in the NFL. Let's think about this for a second. Howie Roseman re-signed A.J. Brown this offseason. Howie Roseman extended Devontae Smith. Howie Roseman extended Jordan Mailata. Howie Roseman extended and gave Landon Dickerson the huge mega deal for a guard, right? All this happened. Signed Saquon Barkley. Let's not leave that out. And the Eagles still are in the top 10 cap space? Whatever he's doing is illegal. Like, there's no way that Howie Roseman is doing anything by the book. Like, there's no way that this is fair in any way, shape, or form. Oh, wait, hold on a second. And arguably the best corner in the draft fell to him at 22? Howie Roseman is the puppet master. And he's just like having the rest of the NFL dance on his strings. This shouldn't happen. And yet it's happened. This is bonkers to me. If you'd say, let's just say this for instance, okay. let's just make it the Cowboys, just for funsies. If the Cowboys added Saquon Barkley, let's just say that Devontae Smith, let's live in this horrible universe where Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown are playing for the Cowboys. And they re-sign those players, re-up them, bring back their offensive line. Do all this throughout the offseason, and they're the how are they the forget about top 10, how are they in the top 8 in salary cap space? How is that possible? How is that legal? Oh, and you signed Bryce Huff, too. How dare I forget him? This is insane. This is absolutely insane. And I was thinking about it yesterday. You have all this space after all these ads, after all these additions, after all these re-signings. And then you talk about Justin Jefferson getting his deal. And then you talk about CeeDee Lamb being the next man up. Yeah, bargain discount with Devontae Smith. The Eagles set the market. It's the smart thing to do. And how he's done all this and still maintaining top 8 in cap space. That's flexibility, baby. That's flexibility. Pretty insane. What did I hear yesterday? The secondary coach, I think, was addressing the media yesterday. James Bradbury has been in contact with the team. See if he shows up today. I would assume he does show up. I still don't think he starts the season with the team. Very simple. Hey, let me tell you about MyBookie. MyBookie.ag. You want to have some fun? You can use MyBookie to bet on all that there is to bet on in the world of sports. Also the world of politics. Also the world of television. It's all on the books on MyBookie. MyBookie.ag. Download the app, create an account, use promo code Farzy, and have all the fun you need with MyBookie. MyBookie.ag. NBA postseason. Finals getting underway. Thursday. 6.5-point favorites of the Boston Celtics against the Dallas Mavericks. You got that going on. NHL Stanley Cup Finals as well. World of baseball you can bet on all on MyBookie, MyBookie.ag. Download the app, create an account, use promo code Farzy. Take advantage of all they have to offer at MyBookie, MyBookie.ag. How about the Game Time app? Want to go to the game? Game Time app has you covered. Download the app. Create an account, use promo code Farzy, get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app with promo code Farzy. You want to go to the Phillies game? Want to go down the night? Want to cheer on Rhys Hoskins before his first at bat, then boo him when he hits a home run, and then cheer him when he touches home plate? You can do that by using the Game Time app. Or, if you just want to go down and watch Phillies win, you can do that as well. All available on the Game Time app. Download the app, create an account, use promo code Farzy, get $20 off your first purchase. It's not just for sports. You want to go to the concert, you want to go to the comedy show, Game Time app has you covered. They have last-minute ticket deals, zone ticket deals. They have ticket deals even for an hour after the event starts for huge savings. You might miss the opening act, the middle, whatever the case might be. But the Game Time app has you covered for great discounts. So you see that headliner on the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code Farzy, get $20 off your first purchase. And also, don't forget about the Game Time guarantee. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less money elsewhere, Game Time will refund your account 110% of the difference. That is the Game Time guarantee. Game Time app, download it to your phone. Use promo code Farzy for $20 off your first purchase. How about PHL Sports Nation? Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's PHLSportsNation.com. Let's get into the chat check and see how you wonderful people are doing on this fine, fine morning. Twiz, what's poppin'? Go Sixers, good morning. IBH, good morning. Johnny G, rise and shine. What's up, doctor? Sean Kilrain, hello. Sean Kilrain, Rojas getting Rhys out at home was awesome. It was awesome. I said this yesterday after the Phillies lost, but they really do have me in my feels. Like, the last time I have watched games with this much fun and excitement, really, in all honesty, was the 2004 Philadelphia Eagles. T.O. was here, and it was like, this team's got it. 7-0, start the season. They run into, some awful play, unfortunately, there in Pittsburgh, dropped to 7-1. But, that was the last time I just expected winning. I just had fun, right? I am just having fun with this Phillies team. Even in a loss, I had fun watching this team. And it wasn't like I was pissed. I was like, oh, it's under 62 games. They're not going to win them all, blah, blah, blah. The cliche jumped to mind. But seeing the players have fun is great. And I know a lot of us, for a long time, we don't like smiles. Mostly, we don't like smiles on the field. We want you to want to kill your opponent and all that stuff, right? Step on their throat, all that stuff. But yesterday was just fun. Yesterday it was fun to watch grown men play a game. And that's what baseball is supposed to be, as long as your team's good. Sean Conan, most regular season home runs at Citizens Bank Park. Ryan Howard, 198. Chase Utley, 190, 129. Bryce Harper, 95. Jimmy Rollins, 94. Rhys Hoskins, 78 and counting. First is a visitor. CZ, good morning. Asia Robertson says Twiz. Hi. James Alexander, good morning. I think we should have kept Rhys Hoskins. He was not a good first baseman. He was really not a good left fielder. I like Marsh. Not going to have the pop that Rhys Hoskins has. I could see Rhys Hoskins coming back to Philly as like that Whit Merrifield guy, you know, but better. But I think the Phillies made the right move. Asia, where you been? In Asia. No, I was kidding. So what's up? Good morning. Go Sixers. Harper is better than Hoskins. Absolutely. Morning fart. Thank you, Daz. Appreciate you. What a great game. One of the most fun games of the year. Absolutely. David Dahl actually pretty good in Colorado. He was good. He was an all-star in Colorado. I was like played in 2021, played in 2023. Then the Phillies signed into a minor league deal or a two-way deal, minor league deal. Was in spring training. And yeah, Phillies signed a former all-star. That was the headline. Hopefully he could put it together, and he'd been putting it together at the minor leagues. And now he got an opportunity at the big leagues. Great baseball story. That's really the one thing that we're kind of missing this year is that minor league story. And not that David Dahl is like he's coming up through the organization and all that stuff. No, he was an all-star in Colorado. So the one thing that they haven't really had is that minor league guy. Cody Clemens, I guess, but he was up here last year. We've kind of seen it. I like this story. It's the next good chapter of the book. April. Good morning, April. Love seeing the warm welcome for Rhys. Absolutely. Dahl, 2 years in Colorado, batted over 300, over 15 home runs. Not a bum. He is not a bum. Oh, thank you, Go Sixers. Plug in the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel and Locked On Phillies postcast with yours truly. Oh, just wait. Remember when this guy was mad the Eagles drafted Cam Jurgens in the second round instead of Nakobe Dean? Yeah. I like people spiking the football on Cam Jurgens already. He's moving to a new position. Don't get me wrong. He's going to be great. I'm not. A little early for that. No? A little early? Geez, what do I have? I have Nolan Arenado trade thrown in my face by Go Sixers, and then just wait. They can't all be gems, just wait. They can't all be gems. Most of my takes, piping hot and beautiful. I don't even consider them piping hot. I just consider them the truth, man. My goal isn't to be hot take guy. My goal is to be accurate. Go Sixers. Have a great day, everyone. You too, Go Sixers. Hoskins was the first. Oh, God. Hoskins is one of several victims of Kapler's Kapler's launch angle crap. His swing was immediately ruined. You and I are on the same page there, IBH. No, what you want to do is you want to make sure you have a good launch angle. But hold on, barely swing. But when you do swing, make sure your launch angle is good. I will now show you what I mean through the beauty of interpretive dance. Okay, anyway. I actually like Gabe Kapler. Mihai Sanchez, Phil should have kept Hoskins at first, Harper in right field, and then traded for Castellanos looking back in hindsight. I mean, Harper is going to be they even said it on the broadcast last night, which I was a little surprised. T-Mac pointed it out. The move was going to happen anyway. And yeah, I think it was because you want to get the most out of Harper on that deal, and you're not going to get the most out of him in right field. I wouldn't mind moving on from Castellanos, but the Phillies weren't going to do that after he made an all-star team last year. But in hindsight, yeah, I guess. The only thing I don't like is Hoskins at first. You have a better first baseman than Bryce Harper. Twiz, I remember when Bobby Boucher coming back at halftime to win the Bourbon Bowl. What? Mama said, no, I'm not going to do it. You're not going to bait me into movie quotes. Remember when Chubbs lost his hand in an alligator happy? What the hell? What are you guys trying to sidetrack me here? Twiz, Fredo Holmes is the devil. All right. Fredo Holmes is the devil. Okay. It's all on the hips. What are you guys doing? All right, Chris Farley references now. Remember the Chris Farley skit where he would say, remember when? I don't remember that. What I remember, is that the one where Chris Farley has the cigarette? And he's like, so I says to the guy, I says to the guy, hold on, listen, I says to the guy, I says, hold on, I says to the guy. Is that the one? I don't remember when. Are you talking about the Chris Farley show? Where he says, maybe that's what you're talking about, when he says to Paul McCartney, do you remember when you were with the Beatles? Oh, yes, Chris, I do. It was awesome. Do you remember when you said the love you make equals the love you take? I don't remember I might reverse that. The love you take is equal to the love you make. Yes, Chris, I do. That was awesome. Is that true? I'd like to think so, Chris. All right, so Chris Farley, come on. Now you're really gonna get me down a rabbit hole. Twiz, we're all laughing our ass off. Hugh catching straight. What's up, T-bro? Hugh catching strays on Hugh's day. Oh, Hugh will think it's funny. Brooks retired too soon on us, says Daz. He did. I think he was done. I think he was done. Good for him. He went to Wharton, man. He went to Penn. Brandon Brooks went to Penn. He retired and he went to Penn. So Wharton School of Business. Good for him. He did praise Keegan really well. Said he was more versatile than he thought. So that was good. Gets him definitely Slagger. Their defensive tackle help is crazy. One of the things Clint Hurt said yesterday was Milton Williams is the elder statesman and he just turned 25. Friend of the show, Milton Williams. Shoot, we could put Clint Hurt as a big dude, man. Wait, what? Daz, I'd love to be that big for a day. I would walk around smacking protein shakes out of bodybuilders' hands at the gym. Nice smoothie. Boom. See, my Gabe Kapler voice came back for that, too. Dev's got a question. What's up, Dev? What's popping? Farzy, would you be okay with Isaiah Rodgers got the start over Mitchell? No. And they brought Mitchell along slow? No. Potentially taking over the middle? No. Or if one goes down? No. Look, I don't think Isaiah Rodgers is that good. Isaiah Rodgers could be better than James Bradbury. The Eagles could have added Isaiah Rodgers and Quentin Mitchell as two corners that are better than James Bradbury. Isaiah Rodgers, to me, is more so the guy that maybe towards the end of the season, oh, wow, this guy's getting reps. Now, if that's the case, then maybe they reversed it, and maybe they're doing the opposite of what you're saying, where Quentin Mitchell was the starter, and all of a sudden he doesn't look like he's up to the task, and then Isaiah Rodgers got to take over a little bit more. What I am rooting for is that the Eagles' two starting corners at the beginning of the year is Darius Slay and Quentin Mitchell. I also think that at the start of the year, Quentin Mitchell and Darius Slay are going to be your two starting corners. If by week 6 it starts to look a little shaky on either side, because let's face it, Darius Slay isn't getting any younger either. If that's the case, then maybe Isaiah Rodgers comes in there and takes over one of those positions. Oh, boy. Mitchell better be as good or better than Arnold, and or Howie will take a raft of poop. Re-signing guys, move the money down the road. That's a classic Banner Howie Roseman deal. It's on the coaches to develop talent. Mitchell has all the tools to be good. One of the most comforting things, Twiz, that I've heard in this offseason is, look, I don't watch a lot of Toledo football, let me admit. But one of the most encouraging things was hearing from Quinyon Mitchell how when they were like talking to him about the complex Vic Fangio defense, he's like, yeah, I've done a lot of this before. Like we did a lot of this in Toledo. So the familiarity is also a good thing, and I also don't think a coincidence. IBH, they need to make a new Moneyball movie about Howie Roseman. That's going to be good. Daz, I really wanted Arnold or Verse. I hope Quinyon is better, and this isn't another Rager versus Jefferson situation. Oh, gross. Sean Gillespie, what's going on? Rams, Gaffer. Well, yeah. Mitchell just needs the reps, says CZ. Twiz. Our defense is already suspect. Cut the Band-Aid off and start Rodgers and Mitchell. Oh, my goodness. Daz, Rieger, combine stud, smaller school at the time. Justin Jefferson, LSU star, championship team. It was an obvious pick. Quinyon, combine stud. Arnold showed at Alabama. Comparison will always be there. Ugh, absolutely. Stan Bruce, good morning, Farzi. Back to yesterday. Do you get a half RBI for the Ghost Runner? Sarcasm. I would love to. That would be the nerdiest thing, to look at a stat book or stats or a box score and be like RBIs at like 0.5. Like you get half a sack in football. He had half an RBI. I mean, the runner was halfway around the bases. Come on, Farzi. The Phillies' 103-win season was like this. You never thought they were going to out of a game, but close. But close the deal this time. It's like, yeah, the 102-win season was, well, yeah, it was similar to this. I don't know if it was the fact that Vance Worley actually ended up getting more starts, I think, that year than Joe Blanton, which is oddly enough. I don't know. Maybe that year was just more expected, and this great start is it? I don't know what it is. 100. I don't know. I have to go. I don't know. I have a different feeling with this team. It was great. It's up there. You're not wrong, Slagger. I'll have to go. I'll tell you what. I'll go back and look at 2011 is when they won 102 games. I'll go back and look at it and try to get back in my feels. But there was something about that season. It might have been Ryan Howard's dip in production. That might have been. Was that the year he hit like two? Actually, it wasn't a dip in production. He hit 270, if I'm not mistaken, and 32 home runs. I think that was the dip. It's going to bother me. I'm doing this now. Yeah. I think it was the 2011. He was 31 years old. Phillies won 102 games, franchise record. Ryan Howard, 33 home runs. He had 253. That wasn't the 270 year. 346 on base percentage, 116 RBIs. Utley only played 103 games that year. Rollins, 142. Well, Brian Schneider, your backup catcher. Mini Mart, Michael Martinez. Yeah, the Four Aces year was pretty great. Roy Oswald only threw in 23 games. Vance Worley, 24. Good Lord. Yeah, Oswald started 23 games that year. Vance Worley started 21. Kyle Kendrick started 15. I don't know. All I got to say is They've never been off to a start like this, and it's better than it's better than a 102 win season. Yeah, I like how Detroit already has Arnold starting, as they should win the first round. We wait till next year. Yeah, pretty much. Forgot about it. That's my house alarm. Everything's fine. Would Rhys be better than? Oh, would Rhys be better than Schwarber as a DH? No. No, because both would be about more so on base percentage, I think. And Hoskins isn't hitting, 40 or 50 home runs. And I think Schwarber has that ability. He does have to get hot. He's only on pace for like 30 home runs this year. Adam, I remember you talking about the home plate umpire last night. I said it must have attended the school of Hernandez for calling balls and strikes. Pretty much. Big Rhythm, that is an interesting question, though. Would Rhys be better than Schwarber at DH? I'm going to say no. Off the rails, Farzy, always the best? Yeah. Wait, these Smitty sorry-ass Eagles. What? Get out of here with your jive talking. Ooh, Fat Mac Philly. Bradbury will start this year. Holy Stromboli. That's a hot take. Woody Buzz, 2011 Phillies lost to the Redbirds in the first round. Yes, they did. They had a horrible. They should have. I said it at the time. Don't go for the franchise record. They wanted to make sure Charlie Manuel had the franchise record for most wins in the season. They got it. They also wanted to make sure they were on the team that had the most wins in franchise history for a franchise that's been around since 1883. But that in winning and beating the Braves, that allowed the Cardinals into the playoffs, and then the Phillies lost to the Cardinals. Good times. Oh, is Crowley not a four aces guy there, Daz? All right, we got another one, folks. Gene Johnson, you look like Nick Sirianni with a bald head. Thank you for including that part of it, as I usually just throw that in there. Daz, Farley was the best. Farley was the best. Oh, the Kapler impression is number one. Thank you. You guys are the best. Off the rails, Farzy. Yeah, you guys know I'm too easy to get sidetracked. Too easy. Yeah. There we go. Thanks everybody in the chat. You guys are wonderful as per usual. Let's get to the morning rush. Brought to you by Sky Motor Cars, skymotorcars.com. Here's what we got. Phillies back at it tonight, 6:40 start time. Again, as I mentioned earlier, Christopher Sanchez is going to get the start for the Phillies as they go for their 43rd win of the season. And also take the second game of this three-game series against the Milwaukee Brewers, who again came into this game as the hottest team in the National League over the last 10 games, winning 8 of 10. Colin Ray gets the start against the Phillies. Right-handed pitcher, 33 years old, 4-2 with a 3.77 ERA. Coming off a nice little stretch here. He's allowed 3 earned runs over his last 2 starts, going 5 2/3 against the Boston Red Sox in a 6-3 victory, allowing 2 runs, both earned on 3 hits. Then he allowed just 1 run on 5 hits against the Chicago Cubs. That 1 run was a home run. That was a 6-4 win against the Cubs. So that's who's going for the Phillies and the Brewers tonight. Again, 6:40 start time. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Make sure you guys hit like and subscribe on the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel for your Locked On Phillies postcast with yours truly. Make sure you guys hit like and subscribe on the Farzy Show YouTube channel. And, of course, make sure you guys hit like and subscribe on the Jacob Media YouTube channel as well. Coming up at 8 o'clock, you got Birds 365 with your man John McMullen and Xander Krause as well. See you guys tonight on Locked On Sports Philadelphia for your postcast on the Phils. See you guys tomorrow morning as well when we talk about what the Eagles had going on out there at minicamp at the NovaCare Complex today. See you guys tonight and tomorrow morning.